Hi everyone, today's quite a special episode because today is the day that I am revealing my next expedition. Let's do this. Hey, I'm Lucy. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a subscriber, if you're new here, then please do subscribe. This channel is everything and anything adventure related. And like I said, this is a very special episode for me because I've been planning something for the last few months. If you've been watching, you've started to see my training started. I've been mentioning that I've had something in the pipeline for a little bit now, but the only thing I've said so far on social media, on here, is that it is a jungle expedition. And so this is where I actually reveal my plans, my big plans that are very much underway for later on this year. And it's gonna feel real once this goes out. So where to begin? Right. Well, a lot of you will know that last year, 2020, I headed off to the jungle. I went to Guyana. So my history with Guyana started back in 2014. If you don't know it, Guyana is a country in South America. It's near Venezuela, it's near Brazil, it's near Suriname. Guyana is very, very cool because it has so much untouched, pristine, picturesque jungles, and it's very, very unexplored area. And back in 2014, I hadn't ever been to the jungle. I'd very much stuck to cold places and high places, and I really just wanted to go to the jungle. You know, I wanted to go see the wildlife. I had a thing with Tarzan when I was younger. Like those who know me know that Tarzan was a big part of my life. I didn't want to be Jane. I wanted to be Tarzan. I wanted to swing through the trees, see the fruits on the trees, see the waterfalls, see all of the greenery and things like that. So in 2014, what was I? I was just leaving university, and in my eyes, I actually thought that this was going to be my last expedition back then. Well, I was very, very wrong, as was everyone who was telling me that it was probably going to be my last expedition. And I kind of thought, well, what can I finish with a bang? You know, where have I always wanted to go? And I came up with the jungle. And I found Guyana because I wanted to do, first of all, I had no survival jungle skills. A friend of mine also had a friend, Ian Craddock, who ran a jungle survival course called Bushmasters out there. I basically wanted to go and do this jungle survival course. After that, I would go and do my own expedition with Amerindians out there, with local tribesmen, and then, you know, with the skills I'd learned, do a proper hardcore thing. And so I went on this jungle survival course. I went and did this expedition. It was actually quite a terrifying experience. There's a story that I won't go into right now, but involving jaguars. It kind of left me thinking that the jungle was full of scary things, which I was right. You know, it is full of scary things. And so after that 2014 expedition to the jungle, I thought, jungle's not for me. Put it to the side, you know, do cold weather stuff, do mountain stuff, and just have a fun there. And then, maybe a couple of years ago, I thought, I was sort of sitting there and I was like, wow, I'm doing expeditions quite a lot. You know, I'm on a roll. You know, I'm guiding expeditions now. I'm being paid to go on expeditions for various different reasons. You know, things are going really well, but it very much felt like something was missing. And then I realized that I'm telling lots and lots of everyone else to get outside of their comfort zone. Yet here I am, kind of, yes, I'm going in these hardcore places, but they very much felt within my capabilities. And so I thought, I've got to go back to the jungle. You know, I finished that expedition with so much fear. That shouldn't be the way it is. You know, I want to go to jungles all over the world. Think of the opportunities, like the expeditions, the adventures to be had, the places to see. A couple of years ago, I thought, go back to the jungle. So I got in contact with Ian Craddock, who was now by this point a very good friend. You know, we'd met up throughout the years. He always had great ambition for me. We came up with the idea after looking at some maps with the Kanuku Mountains. Now, the Kanuku Mountains, I had never heard of. You know, I had been to Guyana, but I had been more northern Guyana. The locals there call it in the Amazon rainforest. It's not in the Amazon basin, but it is part of the heart of the Amazon jungle. A very interesting place. It's very protected. It's very isolated. And it's also full of mystical and magical legends. So the Kanuku Mountains are surrounded by, western side is surrounded by the savannah. Long story short, I was going to go from south to north over the highest point of the Kanuku Mountain. Originally, I was only going to take 2 2 Amerindians. Again, long story short, it's part of a whole other story. If I go into that, we'll never get to my next expedition. I ended up taking 5 Amerindians, but I'm digressing. We crossed the Kanuku Mountains last year from south to north. There's no information about this area. It was very, very unknown. We very much felt like pioneers as we went through there. The maps turned out to not be as accurate as we hoped. We did it. And it was an incredible, incredible experience. When I had originally wanted, back in 2014, to go to the jungle, to see the wildlife, to see the fruits and the trees in this beautiful, idyllic place. Turns out, whenever you're hiking, if you're hiking in the jungle, if you're trekking in the jungle, it's not like that. You don't, it's not that picturesque place you think. You get that if you're on the water, but if you're trekking through the jungle, it's dark, it's claustrophobic, it takes forever to get anywhere. It's so some days you're only going hundreds of meters rather than kilometers. But at the same time, it's overwhelming with your senses. There's spikes on every plant that you can imagine. The wildlife all has some sort of survival mechanism. So it feels like everything wants to get you because everything's just trying to live and compete in the jungle, as are you. But it was on this expedition that I started to realize that you just go with the flow in the jungle. You get into your rhythm and you get into your admin, your routine, and then you can really thrive. Saying that though, I did very much feel very overwhelmed when I came out of that dark and dingy jungle throughout, not seeing the sky for all those weeks. And then I came out and it really was this picturesque place. And, I had a sort of crying moment on camera, which involved tears and snot that I very cleverly edited out of the video that I posted a few months ago. Yeah, it got hard, but I can't believe I'm crying. I feel like now that I've finished, all the emotions are coming out now. Having to be strong throughout and all that. So after that expedition last year, I had such a great experience with getting to know the jungle, with getting to really thrive in the jungle, with getting to know the guys and really having that team dynamic. We were all there were a couple of different tribes there. They were from different tribes. I was obviously the obvious outsider, but what brought us together, we come from these different worlds, we're different genders, we're different cultures, all these things. But, adventure brought us together, and that's the beautiful thing of it. And we became a team, we became friends. And we very much were, we were all just enjoying each other's company and having a proper, real adventure. And that's what made me really, really want to get back to the Kanuku Mountains. So after this expedition, I finished it and I, went back to Ian Craddock, and he was so pleased that it had been a success. He really believed in me. He was proper, supportive, really sort of championed me in a way as an adventurer. And I was like, wow, that was so amazing. I'd love to do another expedition with these guys. What if I had more time, if I could get more money, what would be the thing to do? And he sat back on his chair. He sat there and he went, "You're gonna have to cross the whole thing then now, aren't you? You're gonna have to go and do that." And by that he meant cross the whole thing. He meant, okay, so let's back a bit. Go back to the map. Kanuku Mountains. Yes, I went from south to north originally. The whole Kanuku Mountains pretty much span almost the entire length of Guyana. And, there's a challenge. I started to put together a plan, go from east to west and cross the whole of the Kanuku Mountains. Again, I wanted to take my five friends, one of which I don't know before. I won't say their names yet because I need to confirm it. It's gonna take quite a few weeks. I have no idea how, because I don't know how. No one knows how thick it is in various places. There are so many unknowns. There are, everyone asks, are there uncontacted tribes? Yes, there are. We're not going searching for them. That's just not the thing that you do. But yes, we will be in uncontacted tribal areas. We will be back in Bushmaster snake land, in jaguar land, in the biggest spider in the world, the Goliath bird eater spider. Look away if you hate spiders. So this sort of thing, of course, doesn't come cheap. You know, I've got various food supply drops. A few months ago, I secured this incredible sponsor, and this amazing company called Napkin has sponsored this expedition and everything around it. And oh, I can't, like, so happy to have them on board. Thank you. It's going to be a wild ride. It means so much to have backers to support these adventures, these journeys, these stories. So thank you. To put it into perspective of just how long this expedition is in the jungle, let me show you a map, the map that I used for the last expedition. So this is the map from the last expedition. I went from there up until there. So I'm crossing the equivalent of around 8 or more of these from this way. So basically I'll be able to fill this whole wall in maps. Yeah, so it's a lot longer. Now, the logistics to this are absolutely mad. I can't do it alone. So I went and got my friend, my very good friend, who again I know back from 2014, and that is Anders Anderson, who is both my friend but also working as a fixer for this expedition. He's going to be out there in country. He'll be helping with the logistics for the food supplies and just there for when I leave and when I come back. Know that I am so happy to have you on board. So one of the big reasons, of course, of doing this expedition is because of Ian Craddock. He was the one that's, you know, really believed in me that I could go and do the last one and could do this one. He is the biggest motivator for this expedition. If you knew him, legend of a guy. You know that when, like, the energy when you met him just beamed off him. I say met in past tense. Ian, last summer, tragically, suddenly passed away. It was devastating. Every single person who has ever met him has a hole in their heart. We all felt like he was invincible. You know, we all thought he was going to live out all of us. So I am doing this for you, Ian. I'm doing it for him. And thank you for everything. You know, everyone misses you and I'm going to do you proud. So I hope you're as excited and absolutely psyched as I am for this expedition. Properly getting my head in tune of what's about to come. But got a few months to go. There'll be definitely more planning and training videos. Well, what's left to say is thank you so much for watching. I'm incredibly stoked for this. If you've enjoyed this, please hit subscribe so you can follow everything to do with this expedition and other adventure stuff related. You hit your adventure plans for this year, next year, and the future ahead, because I'll tell you what, it feels incredibly exciting to be planning an expedition, an adventure again. So see you next time and have a good one.